What's up, everybody? Making a quick video here because just talking to some ladies about their travel plans to Bali, thinking about some times where I took some leaps and it was really uncomfortable. Also, I started thinking about something that happened to me when I was in Denver. What was that, last weekend? I think it was last weekend I was in Denver. So I want to share this really quickly. I am here in Philly. We just got to our hotel room. There's this really cute art back there that says, "Lost time is never found again." And how important is that? Because we know it, right? Like, lost time is never found again. So it's really amazing for us to just be mindful of how we're using our time and what we're doing with it. But also, like, what are we putting off for tomorrow? This brings me to the topic of today. Leap or you'll never know the net. So do you guys know what I'm talking about with this whole leap or you'll never know the net deal? It's like that Zen proverb that says, leap and the net will appear, right? How many of you guys have heard that before? Hey, Natalie. Hi, Gwyneth. Hi, Christina. Hey, Valerie. Hi, Ronald. Hi, Jesse. So if you're on here, guys, say hello. Tell me one thing that you're grateful for. Like, let's do that. I don't want you to come on people come into my videos and they listen and sometimes they share, but like, what's one thing that you're grateful for? And when you share something that you're grateful for, that you actually activate it in your system, right? So it's something that you own and you express and you activate it in your awareness. So do that for me, but not only for me, it's for yourself. What's one thing? One thing I'm really grateful for that I was like, when I was going on this whole tour, I was thinking, like, I just want it to be as easy as possible. Christina says she's grateful for her kids. And that's what I was going to say. I am really grateful that Pablo gets to come on this tour and Chanel too, right? Like, it feels like such a blessing and a cool experience that we get to have together. So that being said, I was just feeling into that gratitude last night and I couldn't sleep and I was so excited for this event. And I started thinking about this. Ronald says he's grateful for his health. Oh my God, yes. Like, when I got sick a few weeks ago, it was like you never realize how grateful you are for your health until it doesn't feel like it's there. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I will do everything to take care of my body, right? So here's the deal. I want to share this with you guys. A few things brought up this topic for me. And Natalie says she's always grateful for my kids and all the time I get to spend with them. I know, right? Because you get to do a business at home, which allows us that extra time. So leap and the net will appear. But here's the thing. If you don't ever leap, you'll never know the net. You'll never get to know it. You'll never know what it feels like, how quickly it jumps in to support you. You'll never get to know how supported you've been your whole entire life if you never take the leaps. And I see this all the time. I see this all the time. I see it with my clients. I've seen it in my life. I'm evidence of it. That's why I always speak on it. That's why I can't shut up on it. And I think of someone like Natalie, who was my client. She took a big leap, and now she's one of my assistants, right? I see all the things she's creating. I see all of these things that happen when we say, I'm going to take the leap, and fuck it, I hope the net appears, right? And I want to share this because part of my leap was this book tour. Part of me was like, book tour, like, it felt good, and intuitively I knew it's something I had to do because I took all this energy to write this book. I felt like this book is my lifetime message and I want to get it out. But I had a lot of fear, and I actually remember sitting on the beach in Hawaii actually talking to Natalie, who's on here, and I was like, oh my God, maybe this book tour is a little bit too much. Because I started having like that brain noise like coming in, right? That little negative brain bitch, right? That comes in, wants to tell you some stuff. And I was like, oh, is it too much? I don't know. And I started thinking of like the investment that I was making in it, the time it was going to take, the travel it was going to take, what was going to happen with Pablo and Chanel. And, I took the leap. And I have to say, like, I've been really supported along the way with all of these just beautiful things. And a lot of it has been easier than I thought. And the connections that I've made along the way have been easier. But I wanted to share something that happened in Denver last week. Denver, it was the one tour stop that I had to go by myself, right? I had to go by myself. It's not my city. So it's like, because it's not my city, I don't really know a lot of people there. I have like a following there. So I was like, okay, I have a following there. I have some clients there. There's some people that I know, but it's not like home. Like, it feels really good for me to do an event in LA. I'm familiar with the event space, so I'm not scared of it, right? And so I've gotten so comfortable with LA, and then coming to Philly was cool because I'm like, of course, I have all my good friends there. Like, I have good friends there. It's going to be easy. So New York and Denver were the ones that I was like, that's kind of feels scary, right? So Denver, I go there and I was like, I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to do it by myself. Madeline says, or Mabby, as I know her, says she's grateful for her kids and my grandchildren, and of course seeing you tonight. I know, I can't wait to see you. I'm so glad you guys are coming. And so going back to this Denver thing, I was kind of having all this fear around it. I was like, why is my ego tripping about this? Why is my ego telling me this? Should I have not gone to Denver? Should I not be going to this location? Like, what is this noise, right? And when I got there, I just had like committed to the fact that I'm going to go. I know that I have to go to this one by myself. I'm going to set it up by myself. It's going to be okay because all I need to focus on is getting the message to the people that need the message. And more than the message, it's doing the work in a group of people. Like the people that are in Philly tonight are going to see. It's really powerful work that we're going to do. So I get to Denver, and guess what's there? One of my friends who lives in LA that I don't talk to that often, she happens to be in Denver, and she says, do you need me to come meet you before the event? I'll help you set up. You see what I'm saying? Like the net just appears. And then I start thinking of some stuff that happened in my life, like the stuff that I wrote about in my book. I think about things that I made as an investment. And someone reached out to me and they're asking me about traveling to Bali. And they're like, I never traveled that far by myself because Bali is a significant amount of time in an airplane, guys. And you have to stop somewhere, right? So she was like, I don't know, I've never traveled that far by myself. I'm a little nervous, like, you know, sharing whatever. And I started thinking, and I told her about the time last year when I had to fly to India, and I flew by myself, and I was scared. I was scared because it was 33-hour flight time. It was 33 hours from leaving LA to arriving in Chennai, India. And I was like, I never flew that far by myself. I never went to like some sort of destination like this. And it's no joke. I'm going to countries where people are speaking totally other languages. Like I was going to Hong Kong and then I was going to India. So I had all these nerves around it. And I just decided that in the discomfort, there's always growth. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree with that, give me a 1. Let's say 1. And if you don't agree that in the discomfort that there's growth, give me a 2. I would like to know why, right? If you agree that there is there is growth in the discomfort and you give me a 1, then I have to say, like, what is that thing that you're leaning into right now? Natalie says 1, right? Like Christina's agreeing, right? There is so much growth. So there's these times in our life where we're faced with these things and we can look at our ego and our ego is saying, this is uncomfortable for me. Kind of like how I'm holding this camera right now with my arm. But there's growth because my muscles are strengthening. Okay, so all of you guys are on board with this, right? That there is this growth that happens in the discomfort. So it's not by mistake. It's perfectly by design, and it helps us. But it doesn't mean that our ego is going to want to go along for the ride. And that is the work, right? Because the work comes up for us when we're doing the things that our mind is saying, I don't think so. I don't want to. I don't like how that feels. And you know, there's some people that probably feel like that about going to my event. I don't like going to events before I go to them. My mind is like, oh, I'd rather stay home. I'd rather be comfortable in bed. I'd rather wear my PJs. I'd rather read a book. I'd rather sit outside on the patio. My mind wants to say all that bullshit. But when I actually go to an event and I connect with other people, my soul feels like activated, right? Like I feel so good. And I'm like, I'm so glad I said yes. And the more that we do that, we realize that like, I can't trust this noise that happens up here in my head, right? So then we get to branch out, as Natalie says. We have to branch out of our comfort zone, and we have to realize that when we're branching, our hand is going like this, and we're like, I don't know if I want to, I don't know. But once we put it over there, we get to discover what's over there for us. So it's the same thing when I talk about leap and the net will appear. Like, are you willing to take those scary jumps, feel like your belly twist and turn and your heart start racing, and you hear all of the doubt that comes up. So the beautiful thing that I've learned in this book tour for me is that how much doubt that I had around it, how much, what's the word I'm looking for here? Comparison that came up for me. You're not Gabby Bernstein. Why the hell are you going to go on a book tour? Like, you're not a New York Times best-selling author. Why are you going to go on a book tour? Does anyone even, like, give a shit if you go on a book tour? Like, I had all of these thoughts. But what I realized was, like, I started thinking of the people that I know that are New York Times bestsellers. I started thinking of the people that I know that have made a very successful life out of writing their book and sharing their message. And I remember their stories. And here, guys, this is so key. This is why it's so important that we all share our true stories of the journey to victory. Because if we don't share it, then we don't realize that like everyone feels these things, right? And so I remember listening to a person that I know that wrote a book. And he was sharing that when he first did his book tour, only 5 people were at his book event. And he was like, it doesn't matter. Just keep showing up, keep going out, get your message out there, share your book, share what you're here to share. And I remember hearing that and thinking like, that's the kind of grit that just breeds success. Like that's the kind of stuff, that perseverance, that knowing of come what may, I'm showing up anyway. That's the kind of shit that gets us to where we want to go, because life recognizes it and meets us where we say yes. So I always remembered that. And as I remembered that, I felt like, as I felt the fear of going to all of these events and thinking, well, I just started and like nobody really knows who I am, and like no one really cares who I am, like, you know, all of these things that came up, I realized like I'm going to make the investments. I'm going to get a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going to invest in this travel. I'm going to invest in buying these tickets. I'm going to invest in getting the books out there to where they need to go. And I'm going to do this work and I'm going to get my message out there no matter how scary it may feel sometimes. So I share this with you guys because here I am. I'm here with Pablo. Chanel's in the shower because she hogged the shower, and as soon as we got here, she went right into the shower. So I was like, okay, then I'm just going to make a Facebook Live. So it works out perfectly. Vanessa, I'm going to read your thing in 1 second. But I want to share this, that like, if I didn't do it, like we wouldn't be here getting to enjoy this family time. I wouldn't get to hug all the people I'm going to hug tonight. I wouldn't be able to do all this stuff. And not only that, there's people that have read this book that are like, wow, like that changed my life, and now I changed my relationship with my significant other. Or wow, I just realized, like I had one of my friends, a guy actually, not even a woman, men are reading this book now and loving it. He said, he's a coach and he works in the music industry. And he said, I love your book. It really showed me where I wasn't showing up as high as I can in my life. And I was like, thank you. You know, like I'm so glad that you got that from it, because everyone gets something else different from it. Let's see what everyone says here. By the way, guys, do you see these freaking bug bites right here? Like these mosquitoes, I think did I show this yesterday? I showed it on my Instagram story. I don't know, but I'm like dying over these bug bites over here. Not really dying, just super uncomfortable. Vanessa says, I'm insecure and I'm too afraid of failure. I procrastinate and hate myself for not having the guts to start or complete anything. Okay, let's talk about this for a second, right? Because how many of you guys have ever felt like this, right? How many of you guys have actually felt secure that are on this live stream? Me, I felt it, right? Like I'm just sharing. It's part of being human, because we love security and feeling like, I know what's going to happen. If we stay home in our house, we work at the same job, we do the same thing, we go to the same stores, we hang out with the same people, we just know what's going to happen. We can predict what's going to happen tomorrow. We can predict how it's going to unfold. But is there a lot of excitement and joy and growth and expansion in that? Not really, right? So what happens is we have this nagging, aching feeling of wanting to, we want to know more of ourselves. But how do we know more of ourselves? There's like this infinite ability to expand and to touch different depths of yourself. And that may sound kind of esoteric, but if you've worked with me, then you know this, because we go inward and we start exploring like all of these parts of us. But we'll never know if we don't take the leap. So Vanessa, you've got to do something. I would challenge you to do one thing that makes you uncomfortable. And living with regrets and remorse is debilitating to the human spirit. Oh my God, yes it is. So here's the deal. Vanessa, for you, I would definitely go into my free masterclass this Saturday. If you guys haven't signed up, go sign up. And for anyone that is on the fence or even thinking about like, oh my God, what Nicole says makes sense. And like, if you're feeling those internal nudges, seriously, join Radical Shift. Radical Shift is my signature program. It's only $9.97. And somebody may say, oh my God, $9.97, that's so much. Is it a lot when it's something that would transform your whole life forever? Like it will change the way that you see yourself forever. It will change the way that you are aware of your own power, of your ability to co-create. It's going to change your relationships, your finances, your creativity. It's going to change all of these things. Is it not worth that? It's worth a lot more. But the thing is, this is a group program so that we all get to do it together. But you also get to make new friends. You get to meet women who are showing up for themselves. And guys, if you don't have that community already and you're not doing the work with someone, it's challenging when you're around people that are settling in every kind of way. So that's why when women come into my programs, like their life changes really quickly, because it's like I create this container for us to live our best life and to feel our best and to cut out of the noise and come into an incubation of who am I? Who am I beyond the fact of being a mom or a daughter or, having this old label or someone that did these things in the past. I get to recreate it right now. I get to embody my highest self right now, and I get to say yes. But you see, we need the support doing that a lot of times, because if we're on our own, it could take years. If you're working with someone that can support you and show you where you're contradicting things energetically, it happens so quickly. So get in there if you feel like it. Who else is on here? Let's see. Sheila says, Sovereign Silva makes them go away. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't start making myself uncomfortable until I worked with Nicole last year. Life-changing. Natalie said it. Natalie had to go through some stuff to work with me too. It was like she stretched to get in there. But look at her life now. Like, she got to not have a job, got to start her own business, didn't even have a website when she started her business, started making thousands of dollars. But that's what happens when you just realize, like, oh my God, I don't have to do it the way that everyone says I have to do it. I get to choose how I want to do it. I get to show up and trust. And guess what? If I leap, I'm going to get to know what that net feels like. So guys, I'm going to give you like this little thing. So I am in the like historic part of Philly. All of Philly's kind of historic. So it's kind of cute. I don't know. Actually, I was going to say what that was. The Liberty Bell's over there somewhere. I don't know. I was going to say it, but I realized I don't know what that is. I understand the general area that I'm in, though. So anyway, I'm going to take Pablo for a walk, but I love you guys. If you are a woman and you are like, you know what, I'm ready for a radical shift, then join the Radical Shift Intensive. I promise you, you will not regret it. It will be the best $1,000 you've invested in yourself, because it's going to take you to places that are going to open up so much for you. And you're going to recognize all these normalized sufferings and all this noise and how you've been letting it puppeteer you around, and you're not even owning your inner authority, right? So message me. We close enrollment for that next Saturday. All right, guys, gonna go. Say bye, Pub. All right, bye, guys.